Imagine this, a peaceful day by the sea, the sun shining brightly, and families enjoying the warm weather. The waves are gentle, the sound of the ocean calm, and everything seems perfect. But in an instant, everything changes. A baby, no more than a few months old, is thrown into the churning sea. The baby flails helplessly in the water, the waves pushing it further from the shore. Panic spreads like wildfire as the crowd watches in horror, but no one knows what to do. Time seems to slow down. The baby is struggling, and it seems like all hope is lost. But then, in a shocking turn of events, a German shepherd appears. The dog is calm but determined. Its eyes focus on the baby in the water. Without a second thought, the dog charges into the waves, diving into the sea to save the helpless child. What happens next is nothing short of a miracle. The scene on the beach was one of typical summer joy. Families gathered along the shore. Kids played in the sand, and the sound of waves crashing against the rocks was peaceful and calming. It was a perfect day, but no one could have predicted the horror that would unfold just moments later. A man and woman were walking along the shore, their baby in the mother's arms. They were chatting and enjoying the scenery, unaware of the dark fate that awaited them. With a sudden, violent motion, the baby was ripped from the mother's arms and thrown into the sea. It was so sudden that no one had time to react. The baby's tiny body splashed into the cold water, and the mother screamed in shock and fear. The baby's limbs flailed helplessly as the waves tossed the child back and forth. A few onlookers were too stunned to move, others screamed for help, and some ran toward the water's edge. But they were all too far. No one could reach the child in time. The baby's helpless cries were muffled by the crashing waves. Its tiny body struggled to stay afloat, but the sea was unforgiving. Every wave seemed stronger than the last, and it was impossible for the baby to fight against the powerful current. In a matter of moments, it was clear. Unless someone acted fast, the baby would be lost to the sea. Panic spread quickly. The crowd on the shore grew frantic, shouting, calling for lifeguards, and looking for anyone who could help. But the situation was dire. The water was cold, and the waves were rough, making it nearly impossible for anyone to swim out to the baby in time. The baby's desperate cries became weaker as it was carried further away from the shore. No one seemed to know what to do. But then, from the corner of the crowd, there was a movement. A German shepherd had appeared out of nowhere. The dog had been nearby, perhaps on a walk with its owner. But as soon as it saw the baby in the water, its instincts kicked in. The German shepherd's eyes locked onto the baby in the sea, and without hesitation, it started running toward the water. It was as if the dog knew exactly what needed to be done. Its powerful legs kicked up the sand as it charged forward, leaping into the waves with a speed and determination no one had expected. The people on the beach were still frozen in shock, unsure of what was happening. The dog moved swiftly, cutting through the water with powerful strokes. The waves were strong, but the German shepherd didn't hesitate. The dog was completely focused on one thing, getting to the baby. As it swam through the rough waters, its body cutting through the waves like a torpedo, the dog's determination was undeniable. There was no stopping it. This dog wasn't just running toward the sea. It was racing against time. Every second counted. The baby was still in the water, but the dog was getting closer. People on the shore held their breath, their eyes fixed on the heroic dog as it swam with incredible speed and purpose. The beach was silent, except for the roar of the waves and the sound of the dog's determined breathing. Everyone knew this was the moment of truth. Would the dog reach the baby in time? The German shepherd pushed through the waves, never once slowing down. It was an impressive display of strength, skill, and heart as the dog reached the baby, its body now close enough to grab the child. The dog, calm and focused, knew exactly what it needed to do. It extended its mouth and gently grabbed the baby's clothes, careful not to hurt it. And in that miraculous moment, the dog began pulling the baby back toward the shore, its powerful strokes now pushing to the water with an even greater sense of urgency. The crowd watched in disbelief as the dog made his way back to the shore with the baby in tow, fighting the waves with every ounce of strength it had. This wasn't just a rescue. It was a miracle, an act of bravery that no one could have predicted, but one that left everyone on that beach in awe. The German shepherd had done what seemed impossible. It saved a baby from certain danger, proving that sometimes true heroes come in the most unexpected forms. As the German shepherd swam closer to the baby, the crowd on the shore collectively held its breath. Time seemed to slow down as the dog's powerful strokes pushed it through the choppy water. It wasn't just swimming. It was charging through the waves with an intensity that defied its size. The dog was laser-focused, every movement driven by a single purpose: to save the baby. The baby was still struggling in the water, its tiny body unable to keep afloat. With each passing second, it was being carried further away by the current. The German shepherd, however, was making steady progress, its head held high above the water, eyes locked on the child. The dog's fur was drenched, but it didn't falter, swimming faster and more determined than anyone could have imagined. The waves grew stronger as the dog approached, but it pushed forward, its paws working furiously in the water. The sound of the sea crashing against the shore seemed to intensify, but the German shepherd was relentless. The dog's powerful build, combined with its training and instincts, made it natural in the water. It cut through the waves like a seasoned swimmer, moving with precision and strength. The baby's cries, barely audible over the sound of the waves, were growing weaker. The situation was dire. The onlookers on the shore feared it might be too late. But the German shepherd wasn't giving up. It reached the baby and, without hesitation, gently but firmly grabbed the child by the clothing with its mouth. Careful not to harm it, the dog's instincts kicked into overdrive. With the baby in tow, it began the difficult journey back to the shore. Each stroke of the dog's legs became more intense as it swam against the current. The waves were relentless, but the dog was stronger. It pulled the baby through the water, its body cutting through the rough sea with unwavering focus. On the shore, the crowd watched in awe. Some were crying, others were speechless, but everyone was holding their breath, waiting to see if the dog could make it. The moments felt like an eternity. But finally, the German shepherd reached the shallow waters, its movements slower now, but still determined. As the dog made its way to the shore, the people on the beach rushed forward, ready to help. When the dog finally reached the sand, it gently placed the baby down, its mouth still holding onto the child's clothes, and stepped back. The crowd rushed to check the baby, but miraculously, the child was unharmed. Though shaken by the experience, the baby was alive. The crowd erupted in applause, some in disbelief, others in tears of relief. The German shepherd stood there, panting heavily, but with a calm, proud expression. Its tail wagged slightly, but it didn't seek recognition. It had done what it was trained to do, what it was meant to do. The dog had saved a life, and it did so without hesitation, without fear, and without any need for acknowledgement. It was just doing its job. The miracle that had unfolded on the beach was nothing short of breathtaking. A moment of chaos and fear had been turned into one of awe and gratitude, all thanks to the heroic actions of a German shepherd. As the crowd gathered around the baby, who was now safe in the arms of its parents, the dog remained nearby, quietly observing, as though it had simply done what it was meant to do. The baby, still trembling from the cold but miraculously unharmed, was gently wrapped in towels. The parents, overwhelmed with emotion, couldn't believe what had just happened. The father, his hands shaking, kissed the baby's forehead, whispering words of gratitude. The mother, too, was in tears, holding her child close and thanking the heavens for the rescue. But their words of thanks were not only for the medical team on the beach, but also for the incredible dog who had saved their baby's life. As the crowd began to gather around the German shepherd, it was clear that this dog was not just an ordinary pet. It was a hero. The dog stood proudly, yet humbly, its tail wagging slightly as it received pats and grateful glances from the crowd. Some people knelt down to offer the dog treats. Others simply stood in awe of the bravery they had witnessed. The impact of this miraculous rescue wasn't just emotional. It was physical, too. The dog had braved the waves, the dangerous currents, and the freezing cold water to save a life. It had put itself in harm's way, not out of obligation, but because of a deep, instinctive desire to protect. This was a dog that knew no fear, a dog that acted without hesitation, and a dog that became the hero of the day. But the German shepherd didn't seek praise. It wasn't looking for applause. It had done its job, and that was enough. It stood quietly as people admired it, its eyes calm and serene. For the dog, this was just another day, another chance to show its loyalty and love. But for the parents of the baby, for the onlookers, and for everyone who witnessed this miraculous act, it was a day they would never forget. The German Shepherd had become more than just a pet. It had become a symbol of courage, loyalty, and selflessness. It had shown the world that even in the darkest moments, there are heroes. Heroes who don't wear capes, but instead have 4 paws and a heart full of love. This story is a powerful reminder of the incredible bond between humans and animals. It shows us that the love and loyalty of a dog can transcend anything we expect. The German Shepherd's heroic rescue wasn't a result of training or instruction. It was simply an act of instinct, love, and a deep desire to protect. In that moment, the dog became more than just a pet. It became a true hero. But what makes this story even more incredible is the fact that the dog acted without thinking. It didn't hesitate when it saw the baby in danger. There was no time to consider the risk, no time to think about the waves or the cold water. It just acted. The dog's actions were driven by pure instinct and its natural desire to protect. It's a powerful message for all of us. In a world that often feels unpredictable and uncertain, sometimes the simplest acts of courage can make the biggest difference. The German Shepherd didn't wait for permission, didn't look for praise. It just knew what needed to be done. And in doing so, it saved a life and reminded us all the power of love, loyalty, and courage. This incredible act of bravery has touched the hearts of many. People who witnessed the rescue and those who heard the story later were left in awe of the dog's determination. It was a true miracle at sea, a story of hope, survival, and extraordinary lengths to which a dog will go to protect. And while the baby's life was saved that day, it was a German Shepherd that stole the show, proving once again that heroes come in all shapes and sizes, even those with fur and paws. Have you ever seen an animal do something truly extraordinary? Share your thoughts and stories with us in the comments below. If you were inspired by this heroic act, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more heartwarming animal stories that will leave you moved. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more amazing real-life moments.